We took investment, not for the cash, but for the strategy and for the things that they would bring and enable AC to do and diversify and whatever, and really take it to the next level of growth. Like Maxine, my mum she looked after me and my sister growing up. She didn't have much marketing experience. I obviously didn't, because my job previous was in a pub, which is wild. And I was like, am I going to be able to keep up with the change? Am I going to be the best person in different roles? And I've changed roles so much. Like beginning, I used to do Amazon, like the operational side, like ordering stuff, customer service, fulfillment, like whatever it needed to be. Everyone doesn't, beginning of business, you do everything there. And then grew more into that, I guess, COO role.
Yeah, because
so, like,
you were in the COO role, weren't you?
Yeah, that like operational side of things, which I love that. Like I really enjoy that. But we then, in 2020, the business got bigger. We put a board in place. And my role has shrank in some ways, but grew in others. So now I take more of the like people and culture side of AC. Like I love people.
How do you handle the fact that you may be younger than some of those people? And what would you advise to other young women in business?
I love the role I'm in because I think I not offer a different perspective, but I'll always try and I don't have that. One of my biggest things about AC, and I think the reason it succeeded so well, is the like naivety that me and Maxine had. Because it's if you want to do something, you just figure out how to do it, even if it's quite hard to do. And that came down to formulation and things like that. But that naivety, I guess, gives me like different perspectives on things, and not all people issues can be treated the same. And I think being a family as well, like you have that empathy for people. I love trying to build like the high performing teams we've got at AC and just seeing people grow. We've had people that started as like warehouse operatives and now are in just our operations team. Like their lives have changed in some respects, and it makes me smile when you see those transitions and people grow in their roles. But in terms of kind of advice that I'd have for young women in business, it would, well, always be to talk to people. And I remember when we found our first marketing company, it was because Maxine went to a conference, and that networking thing is so important. I know people hate to do it.
Yeah.
But just go. You never know who you're going to meet at different places and what that will lead to, and that opportunity is going to arise.
I think it's very easy to look at a business like Absolute Collagen or any other of the businesses that are super successful and think, okay, it's all amazing. It's just easy for those guys over there. What are some of the challenges that you've had to help the business overcome, and how have you done that?
Yeah, I guess one of the macro challenges would be we basically launched a product into a market that didn't really exist.
Yeah.
Like we actually had a men's product to start with, and we were the world's first male beauty supplement. Like beauty supplements were quite new, nutraceuticals were quite new. Collagen even was very nascent and very new, and people didn't really understand what it was for. And even now there's so many different formats of it. So one of the biggest issues was just teaching people, educating people about it, because you have that kind of full funnel approach. But first of all, it's like, we're not even going to show them what the brand is. It's going to be like, this is why you actually need collagen.
Yeah.
Now that's a lot easier, but there's so many more competitors. We had so many small random issues, like with a food product, supply chain issues with any product. We've thrown away like hundreds of thousands of pounds of stock that's gone wrong. Our warehouse flooded at one point, which wasn't good because we're in cardboard boxes and things like that. I was about to drive to Berlin once to pick up some stock because we just didn't have any. There's been loads of small issues, but I think that's something my mum's taught me, Maxine's taught me actually, is that you can I love problems. Like I know one of my core skills is like just creative problem solving. Like I'm really good at that. I think I thrive in those sort of situations. And if I don't have things to do, I get really bored. I need 10 things. Otherwise I don't.
Did you always love problems?
No, I don't think so. Probably not. As a kid, you just want the easy life, really, don't you?
But how do you change your mindset to loving problems? Because that is one of the kind of keys to coping with life. How have you changed your mindset to loving problems?
This was it for me, like before investment. So in 2020, I was like, okay, 6 months I won't be in this business anymore. Like I'm not going to be able to step up to the people or the person that they need me to be. And I'm okay about that. I've always said I'll prioritize the business over myself and like that growth. But it was going through that and realizing, I spoke to our investors about a year after they invested, and I said, what did you think of us when you first came in? And they were like, oh, we weren't going to invest. We left that meeting and we weren't going to invest. We weren't going to touch it. And I was like, okay, why? And he was like, because you and your mum didn't have any experience. I always said, well, what changed your mind? Because we were very open and honest that we don't want to be the leaders of that business going forward. And we have a CEO in place now and they're great. And he was like, if we could build high performing brands and teams like you've done, why wouldn't we just do it ourselves? And we have built a brand that people genuinely really love and they really care for it. And I think that's one of the That's one of the key building blocks of AC, really, isn't it? That community and that piece.
The community is a key building block of AC.
100%, yeah. I do the just telling myself, like, you're okay, you've got this. I do that. I know that's sad.
I think that's great. We all have to do that. What do you say to yourself?
I'm like, you've got it. Like, you can do it. When I'm panicking, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, Darcy, you can do this. And that helps. And just being like, you are okay with change. And if I'm feeling, I get quite, I don't know, that like pit in your bottom of the stomach if something's like going wrong or whatever. And I'm like, just take 5 minutes. Like, you can, no one's going to die. It's all going to be okay. I say that a lot, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
What? No one's going to die. It's all going to be okay.
When the team's like panicking, I'm like, guys, we're literally selling collagen. It's fine. We're all going to be okay. Like, me and Maxine always say, the team is so great. But don't put 100% in at work. Like, we can't expect anyone to put 100% in at work.
Yeah.
Put 80% in at work. Go live your life. Go be with your family. And then show up to work and give 80%. And that's all I think you can ask of people. And they love their roles. The team is so great.
You've been voted one of the best places in the UK to work for women, and that probably feeds into what you were saying. What makes a place great to work for women in particular?
I think there's two sides of it. I do think the culture is really important, and that's such a word that gets bandied around.
Yes, it is. It is.
Like And to be fair, if you looked at AC maybe 2 years ago, everyone was working quite a lot, and we probably hadn't got that structure in place, and we hadn't really got clear prioritizations.
So you think you didn't have the culture as evolved 2 years ago as it is now?
No, I think it's just different.
Yeah.
People love their roles still. Like, people loved the business, and that's always so great.
Yeah.
People, the
I
brand.
think they love it. They must love working for a mother and daughter as well.
Yeah, they do. And they're always like, oh, I don't work with my kids. I'm like, don't do it. It's terrible. No, we love it. So I think that culture thing is really important. But I think it's like giving people, just empowering people. One of our ex-employees, she's left now. She came from a big corporate company, had kids, then tried to get back on the career ladder, basically took a big kind of step down, and she came to AC after struggling to try and get that back up.
Yeah.
She did have a life and a family, and you can't expect people to give everything at work and not their family. And she was like, she cried actually. She was like, this is the first place I've been in a long time that finally sees me for me and me as a mother, like as a friend, as a really great employee, like whatever that might be. And I think it's just allowing people to be themselves. Like people, I keep seeing people walk through the office with no shoes on, and I'm like, this is quite nice. I like that you can be yourself here. But it is genuinely, it's just a nice environment where people want each other to thrive, and people don't, if someone's KPI is slipping, but they know they can help someone else get theirs, they'll sacrifice their own work growth for someone, which is nice.
And what's the other side of making it a great place to work for women?
I think it's just like the benefits and that side of things, and like the stuff you do on paper, and like the flexibility you give people. Like, we do work from home in August and December, which for a lot of people is really helpful, but people with kids, I think it's really helpful for. They can go to their nativity 5 times if they want in December.
Yeah.
We work flexibly from 6 till 7. We try not to get people to send emails after 5, schedule them. That's a big thing, because then people don't feel like they're on all the time, because it's so hard, isn't it, with your phones and stuff, not to be like that.
So those are real tactical things that other companies can learn from.
Yeah, I think the work from home thing's massive. Yeah, work from home 2 months a year is massive.
Yeah.
We do 2 days in the office. A lot of our team prefer to come in more, some prefer to come in less. I think people just need to be, I don't know, we just trust people. I just think you can't expect people. I love AC. I love Absolute Collagen so much, and I'd do anything for it. But why would anyone else do that? It doesn't make sense. Like, whatever you're motivated by, whether, I don't know, whether that's money or helping people or products, I just don't think it makes sense. And I also think people should just be really happy in their roles. And if you're not happy in your work role, then you're there for such a long time of the day.